I think a lot of the time when people start their journey into personal finance, the problem presents itself right away. Where do you actually start? Where's the roadmap? And how do you make a financial plan? I know that when I first started learning about money, I had to take a whole bunch of different bits and pieces from different sources and put it together like a puzzle. And you know what? I'm not a puzzle builder, okay? I got better things to do on a Sunday afternoon than figure out how to stick a million tiny bits of plasticky cardboard together. That's a pain in my butt as far as I'm concerned. So I wanted to save you the headache by presenting you with said map, all nicely packaged up for you. Because this is Cash College, and that's what we do. So the first thing some of you may be wondering is if you should go see a financial advisor to get this information. And you by all means could. Hey Steve, come on in, come take a seat. Hey, thanks for seeing me. So what can I help you with today? Are you looking to do some financial goal setting? Wow, yeah, actually that's exactly it. Don't be so surprised. It's my job to know these things. So first of all, I think that we should get you into this mutual fund as fast as possible. Oh, I'm not sure. Honestly, today I was just looking to get some basic financial advice. Right. Well, honestly, I'm not really sure how to help with that, but that mutual fund though? What was that? What, this? Yeah, that. Oh, it's a chef's kiss. Okay, well, I think I might start exploring some other options, but thank you. Hey! Nobody leaves unless I say so. And listen here, buddy, you ain't leaving until you buy this here mutual fund. Okay, so maybe that was a bit dramatic. I mean, I'm not saying to not go see a financial advisor. Okay, so maybe I am actually saying that, but look, I just want you to receive an opinion from someone who's not trying to sell you something. I want you to be able to form your own objective opinion about what's best for you financially. And I want to do my part to help out with that the best way that I can. So without further ado, let's look at how to actually make a financial plan for yourself. I'm calling this plan the Stairway to Financial Freedom because it has 5 steps on it. And if you follow this stairway, you will arrive at financial freedom. Now the stairway has 5 steps, as I said, and as you complete each step, you can progress to the next one. This will hopefully make financial goal setting and planning much simpler for you because you'll know exactly where you're at and exactly what you need to do. So let's go ahead and walk ourselves up this stairway. Step 1. Essential living expenses. What would happen if we took away our food, shelter, and clothing? Well, we probably wouldn't survive for very long, especially in the Canadian winter. I do a lot for you guys, okay? So maybe hit that subscribe button. Our first financial priority needs to be being able to pay for things like groceries, rent, and clothing. If we can't even take care of ourselves, then we can't even begin to think of further financial steps like paying down our debt or investing our money. And this may very well be the step that a lot of you are on. I know that it's definitely a tough world out there and that there's a lot of people struggling to make ends meet. So I want to do everything I can to possibly help by providing you with all the information that you'll need to succeed. And now there's 2 basic ways to get yourself past step 1. And that's to either increase your income or decrease your expenses. Now, I'm not going to cover this in depth in today's video because today I just wanted to present the overarching financial plan, but if you continue to watch my content, I promise you that I'll provide as much information as possible on those 2 topics. If you apply these strategies and commit yourself, I have every confidence that you'll be able to put yourself in a position where you're not living paycheck to paycheck. And then we can proceed to step number 2. Step 2, high interest debt. This is what it's like to try and move through life with high interest debt. But what exactly is high interest debt? Well, it all has to do with the interest rate associated with that debt. If the interest rate is higher than what you could reasonably expect to earn if you otherwise invested your money in the stock market, then you have high interest debt. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say you had $1,000 of credit card debt at an annual interest rate of 20%. But let's also say that you just recently acquired $1,000 that you decided to invest in the stock market instead of paying down your debt. Let's say that we also know that the stock market is going to grow about 7% per year on average. So knowing all this information, which amount of money do we think is going to grow faster, our investment or our debt? Well, after just a short 5 years, our investment actually grew by $417, which means that it's now a total of $1,417, which is pretty good. That's not bad at all. That's great. But our debt actually grew to $2,695. Uh-oh, that's not good, because now our debt is actually over $1,000 more than our investment is worth. What we should have done is taken that original $1,000 that we invested and instead used it to pay down our debt. We want to just smash that debt down to zero. I'm talking just take that debt and... Sorry, I was getting a little bit carried away there. But that's why high interest debt needs to be priority number 2. Because of the high interest rate associated with this debt, it can make your net worth real negative real fast. And as a general rule of thumb, I'm going to classify high interest as anything with an interest rate over 7%, because that's what you can reasonably expect to earn if you invested your money in the stock market after adjusting for inflation. And the main culprit of high interest debt is credit card debt, and that's because the interest rate on late payments is insanely, disgustingly high. So you need to make sure that you're paying off that bad boy every single month in full and on time. Don't let credit card debt be the one thing that sets you back on your financial journey to success. And I'll be covering a lot of material on credit cards in future videos, so make sure to subscribe so you get those too. Step 3, emergency fund. Now the third step we should accomplish on our road to riches is establishing an emergency fund. But what exactly counts as an emergency? Hey, here's your Uber Eats. Oh yeah, thanks man. This was an emergency. Oh really? That must happen a lot because you said that yesterday. Guess who is not getting a tip? Yeah, sorry, Uber Eats is definitely not an emergency. I'm talking about things like a job loss, a medical emergency, or something along those lines. Something that's unexpected and expensive. But it doesn't necessarily have to set you back financially. If you set aside a few months worth of living expenses, you'll be able to actually shrug off these kind of expenses and push forward to your journey to financial freedom. Now, experts generally recommend that emergency funds should range between 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, but honestly, any amount that you can set aside helps. And you're gonna wanna put this money into a high interest savings account that you're not going to touch. You're just gonna let it sit there and then simply leave it there in case trouble strikes, because unfortunately, it often does at some point in our lives. And no, those late night McDonald's cravings do not count as trouble striking. If you spend your emergency fund on this, I will come poke you like an old lady with bony fingers. Step 4, investments. All right, step 4, that's awesome. Look at you go. All right, guys, yeah. Round of applause. Round of applause. You finally Okay, you can stop now, man. It's alright. You know, it's actually his first day. I think he's just a little excited. Okay, so as I was saying, we finally reached the fun stage, investing. This is where we take our money and turn it into even more money. But listen, this is going to take patience and discipline. I promise you that I will provide as much information as I possibly can on investing and simplify it to a crazy degree. But then you have to promise me that you're also going to be patient about it, because the method that we're going to use isn't exactly sexy. We're not going to be trading hot stocks or following a get-rich-quick method. Instead, we're going to be investing in a basket of high-quality stocks through one simple investment: an index fund. If you've never heard of an index fund before, they're going to be your new best friend. And that's because they allow you to beat the vast majority of so-called investment experts out there, all while paying virtually nothing in fees. And don't just take my word for it. People like Warren Buffett or other financial experts completely advocate for the use of index funds. And that's because they put the investor first instead of the financial institution. Banks would much rather you purchase a mutual fund with a high fee attached to it, even though it performs worse than an index fund. But we're not going to do that. I'll be making several videos about investing in index funds and covering this all in depth, so make sure that you tune in and keep an eye out for those. Step 5. Low interest debt. Yes, that's right. The fifth and final step on the stairway to financial freedom is low interest debt. And you may be wondering why we've left some kind of debt to the last priority here. And that's because of the interest rate once again. Since the interest rate on this debt is so low, lower than that 7% that we talked about earlier, that means that if we're already investing our money, it should be growing faster than this debt, which means our net worth is actually going to be positive and it's going to be growing even though we still have some debt. If you remember the little simulation we did earlier with high interest debt and investing, this time the results are going to be flipped. Investments are going to grow faster than the debt in this situation. And you might have noticed that we've kind of built this whole stairway around the interest rate. And we've done that strategically because as an interest rate gets higher with a financial instrument, you need to give that a higher priority, because the force of interest is going to act on that thing much faster and much more powerfully if the interest rate associated with it is higher. So the higher the interest rate, the higher priority. In this case, at this point, we should have our essential living expenses covered, no high interest debt, an emergency fund set up, and we should have some investments rocking. So I mean, it's okay to leave yourself some low interest debt, and this could even be something like a mortgage, which you're probably going to have for a while you're paying it off. But now we've reached the point where any new money that we receive over and above the other steps we've already covered, we're definitely going to want to put this towards our low interest debt at this point, so that we can be completely debt free and then be putting new money into our investments after this and just snowballing that on our way to financial freedom. Whew. Okay, so in conclusion, the 5 steps to financial freedom are essential living expenses, high interest debt, an emergency fund, investments, and then low interest debt. As you complete each one of these steps, your net worth will grow and you'll be in a better financial position. Now, if you want to learn more details about all of these different steps and how you can accomplish them, make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be covering all of these in crazy detail across a whole bunch of new videos. And if you got some value out of today's video, please go ahead and hit the like button and leave me a comment, because it greatly helps boost the signal of this channel. And to be honest, I just love hearing from you guys and interacting with you. And with that, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you again soon.